This is our new podcast studio.
Funny story. I don't know, half my daily calories.
It was massive, and she was saying to
like,
me, that's fucked. Because like my favorite thing is to be like basically half naked in board shorts, but just jumping around and having a fucking good time without any of our friends, without any of our parents, without us even fucking realizing what was going on. We went into contract on this dream home. We are back, baby. Only took us, 4 months or something? 3 months, but we've been busy.
So busy. Like everything just happened at once. Where do we even start?
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back a bit. First of all, Alicia went through an amazing transformation that happened kind of towards the end of the last potty.
Yes.
Where you came to me and you're like, you had like the body fat calipers and like the little printout being like, I need you to test my body fat. I need to know where I'm at. I'm not happy with my body. Like what happened was, before we get into the update, this is really important. There was a few times in a row where we're like, oh, our friends asked us to come to the beach and you didn't really feel comfortable in your bikini. And like some girls just don't feel comfortable no matter how good they look, but you were like making excuses not to come. And I'm like, how can you not want to be? Like that was one of the most favorite things we used to do. We'd travel, we'd go to Bali or Thailand, or we'd go to the beach together in the middle of the day in front of everyone, and you'd have like a hot bikini on, we'd take photos and swim, and it was like a highlight of what we did. And then you got to a point where I could start to pick her up. I'm like, oh, you're not happy with how you feel and you don't want to be in a bikini. And I'm like, that's fucked. Because like my favorite thing is to be like basically half naked in board shorts, but just jumping around and having a fucking good time. So you came to me and said, okay, I give you responsibility to like dial my stuff in. So I got you on a macro and a calories. Like I set your calories and basically like based off a meal plan on the app. And I dialed your calories and your macros in. And then I was like, you need to weigh, if you want to eat random foods or foods outside your meal plan, you need to weigh it. Because you're like, yeah, it's enough. I'm like, no, how much protein?
Everything. Had to weigh everything.
Just for the first few weeks. So then you like a light bulb went off and you're like, oh fuck. I've been going way over my calories. I haven't been eating enough protein. I've been trying to find like snacks or supplements to try to fill the gaps instead of having a good nutrition base, which is very common. And then the training as well, just like you started motivating me. Like my training hasn't been as good, and like surfing and like business has been my number one priority. And there's many days where you would get me and be like, I'm going to the gym. I'm like, okay, I'm coming with you.
I feel like the training is almost the easiest part for me. Like
once you get there,
but the eating is always where I struggle.
Yeah.
But I found that by lowering my lunch and my breakfast, I could have
gave you more
big
calories for dinner, yeah.
So then like I feel nice and full when I go to sleep, because if I'm like sitting there hungry and I can hear my stomach, I can't sleep properly.
When I was doing competition preps and like getting ready for like fitness modeling shoots when I was in my mid-20s or whatever, I would use that strategy. I would have lower calories throughout the day and I would have a big dinner. So I felt satiated and I felt like that relaxing feeling after carbs, like that carb coma.
Yeah.
And everyone's different, but that's what we do for our clients. We strategy around their lifestyle and what works best for them. And we move things around. We work with them one-on-one through email to get things right. And that's what we did with you. And I kept saying to you, use the fucking app. Like, use the app. Like, don't just, you're like the face and the booty of the brand. So like, let's really see what it's like. And the transformation that you did over 8 to 12 to 15 weeks before Fiji was incredible. And you were comfortable in your bikini and that was really awesome. So let's go into some actual updates. I'm gonna go back to, we're building out this space. This is our new podcast studio. Have we done a podcast in here yet?
No, this is our first podcast.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so we've got the beautiful couch. Got a bit of greenery happening in the background.
And then right behind you on this angle, look at these wood panels over here.
Yeah, that's nice.
It
breaks it up.
Bougie, it's clean, it's aesthetic, the lighting's good. I love it. The podcast studio is basically finished. We're gonna get some of, we're gonna bring out some clothing and some sups or whatever one day and have them up on this stand here. We might get another cool little bougie light here, but it's basically 99%.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. So we started this is where we are right now. It's not just one room. If you watched our last video, which is up on the YouTube and our app and everything, is a full body workout, and you'll see more of the gym space on the other side of these cameras. What we have here is kind of like a room that's open here to the gym. So we're basically looking at gym equipment, cable machines and walls and mirrors and stuff like way over there. And then here is the potty space. This fit out started, the idea basically started about June, July last year. And right now it's 2nd or 3rd of June or something. So it's about a year. We're coming up to a year. Like, and that's like after I'd actually thought about it for 3 or 4 months to like really compartmentalize it. This took fucking ages and it nearly killed me. It took a part of my soul to get this done. The amount of times that I had to micromanage the fit out company and the tradies and everything, just because I'm a perfectionist, right?
Yeah.
I'm probably pretty hard to work for.
Yeah.
But it's because I have a vision and I want things to be minimum of what we planned. Because otherwise I spend the rest of my life going, what if we made this better? Like having this wood slat, having this, the lighting, everything had to be well. So that took this basically close to, the podcast studio finished about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then the gym's not even fully finished yet, but it's basically enough for us to do full workouts, but we've got some more equipment coming. While we're doing all this, we had an investment property at a block of land in Queensland that we're looking at doing a dual key. So like a dual income, basically what it is 2 houses under the one roof that you can rent out separately and make good returns on. And people actually need that because not everyone can afford a 4-bedroom or a 5-bedroom house. So it was separated. Right before we got the pre-purchase loan, we got the loan, everything sorted. This was about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
3-4 months ago. And then we find out the land has been the government, or what is it? The company that owns the land that does the subdivision in all these big estates, they postponed it because we've had rain for 6 months. They postponed it for another 6 or 7 months. So I'm sitting with my accountant and I'm just thinking, I love the house we live in. I've got the fit out, I've got enough stuff going on. And you could tell how stressed I was and how stressed we both were. I'm like, we've got enough going on. We're happy where we are. We love our house. And then my accountant was like, don't wait for the land and stuff. Would you like to eventually upgrade your house to get a bigger block for when you want to have a family or you want more dogs or to have people stay with you, like a better hosting space? And I was like, yeah, my dream is to be in this place that has big blocks. It's only 5 minutes from where we live. It's closer to this office and podcast studio. And we would drive through there for years now. Like every year, every 6 months, we'd drive through there and go, oh, look how big this house is.
Yeah.
And
it was our dream area.
It was like the biggest dream. And I'm like, by the time I'm 40, I want to try and be up here. I'm going to work really hard. And then my accountant was like, why don't we just make it happen now? And I was like, whoa.
As soon as he said that, Jackson's on realestate.com.
While I'm driving on the way back home.
He's like, I don't want to tell my wife. I don't want to tell my wife.
I started looking on realestate.com and looking through kind of our budget, what's available. Because I'm like, I'm not going to do it unless it's like the dream home. It has to be the right one because it's a big commitment. It's a big loan while we're currently doing all this. And I'm like, if I do this, it could break me. Like I could have a heart attack. But I thought, we'll have a look. And then we started going to some open homes. And that's you never want to go to open homes because you end up buying something. It's like going to look at a puppy when you don't want a puppy. Like you should never do that.
I was just like, I just want to kind of see what's out there, get a bit of a vibe, see what they're kind of offering. And then we went to a few of them, but there was none we really loved. And then we kept going. I'll let you talk about the story.
We kept driving past.
We kept driving past this certain house, and because it's like what would you call it? Like a circuit?
Like a big road that loops around.
It loops around, yeah.
You can either come from the bottom of the road up the hill to where the west view houses are, or you can come down the hill, basically like a big circuit.
Yep.
And we were driving along the bottom, coming up on the left, there's this beautiful, big, white home that we just love, really white homes, like that vibe. And it was like 2-story, this crazy block. And it was like this little castle. And it wasn't for sale. And I thought, fuck, I wish that was for sale because I'd actually want to buy that. Then we seen it again the next weekend at the next open home. And they had like 2 gardeners and and they were cleaning stuff. And I'm like, oh, they must be so rich. They got people just doing all this cleaning and gardening. 2 days later, comes up for sale on realestate.com. I look at it and go, fuck off. I showed you and you go, whoa. We got on to my mate, who's a property specialist, Pumped On Property, the best guys ever. And I said, what do you think about this? And what should I do if I want it? And he was like, jump on it straight away. Try to get a viewing before other people see it and come in with a really good deal. Don't go lowballing, don't stuff around. Like if you really want it, come in very close to that market value. Without going into much details, we ended up having the best real estate agents, the best guys. Like they were from the country, because we're kind of like from the country as well.
Yeah.
And these guys are from the country, and they were just like the most down-to-earth real estate agents. And I'm like, thank fuck, because I love real estate agents, but you know what I mean. There's some that are like wheeling and dealing and just trying to get the maximum, and just they overpromise, underdeliver all over the block.
Yeah. They were great.
We went in on it hard, and long story short, we got the deal on really short terms, on fast turnover, and without any of our friends, without any of our parents, without us even fucking realizing what was going on, we went into contract on this dream home.
30 days, right? We were in.
It was 14 days finance.
14 days.
30 days to actually move in.
Yeah.
So we're
in
like
30 days.
And then if we kept saying to each other, if we don't get the negotiations and we don't get it, we're happy where we are.
Yep.
At our last place.
There was nothing else we really loved.
We
so-
loved that place, but we fucking got it.
Yeah.
And then the real stuff hit me where I was like, luckily I've got you. Honestly, luckily I've got you, because while I'm running the business and all the clients and our business is booming, like everything's like happening, you're making sure that the house is getting all of our stuff, like you're booking removalists, you're making sure we've got bond cleaners. And I was just like, you think that you can't handle more pressure until you have more pressure and you have to deal with it. And then the bar just gets set higher. And I learned that every 6 months in this business, or every literally 30 days in growing this business and building this site and having our own gym and podcast studio and upgrading a house. And that's just the surface level stuff. Underneath that, all the admin and like having to manage a team, and like it puts a lot of pressure on you. But every time you think you're at your limit, you realize you can actually handle a bit more. You just have to reset that bar.
Yeah.
And without you, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like no way. I would be having the fucking some breakdown bender, or I'd be in Vegas. I don't know. I wouldn't, like the stress I wouldn't have someone to lean on to calm me down and like be my rock. So we move into this house.
Yeah.
And there's a house tour video on YouTube.
Yeah.
And there's a little trailer of it on Instagram if you want mini version. And then I decide, I'm like, because I was looking at cars, like actually I ordered a Land Rover Defender. It was like a dream car to me. I watched a few TV shows like a few years ago and I seen one and I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, I'm going to wait to see what the reliability is like over the next few years. And a few people that I knew have them and they like drive them around Australia and they fucking didn't have any problems. I'm like, sick, I want one. I ordered that 6 months ago. We moved into the house, got told it was coming like a few weeks later and I was like, crazy. So now I got to get ready and get the finances sorted for that. And then my dream was to have a proper Porsche, like a Porsche sports car. And Alicia was like, you've been looking at them on your fucking phone and watching YouTube videos for 2-3 years. Like YouTube non-stop, just Porsche fanatic.
I'm like, he's not gonna drop this. Because you're like, no, if we get the house, I won't get the Porsche.
Well, I said, we'll get the house. I won't worry about the Porsche, because a GT Silver Porsche came out the exact spec that I wanted in a GT4. And I'm like, I'm letting it go. The house comes first. Because let's be honest, the house does come first. And then anything else comes first. Like if I had to sell the Porsche to keep our dog or to do something to the house, I would. But we move into the house, everything's happening. And like 2 weeks later, I'm like, oh, I just got an allocation at a dealership for a GT4 in black with like the perfect spec. Manual gearbox, Alcantara roof, like everything upgraded, like most insane spec. And I said to Alicia, I was like, I'm gonna get the Porsche. And she's like, fucking hell. So I do this to myself. But anyway, the house tour video will show a bit of the Porsche, the Defender, but most importantly, the house. It's beautiful. And what was when you were moving in, you kept saying like, you were using our dog Honey as like a kind of a coping mechanism, saying hopefully Honey likes the house, but really it was like hopefully you like the house. Like when you say like, I mean,
I was a bit, as much as I loved the house and I was like so excited, I was also, with me with change is scary.
You don't like change, you don't like traveling, you don't like sleepovers.
I was just like, oh, what if I don't like it? What if Honey gets out? What if she gets bitten by something? Just spiraling in my head. And we thought is going to fit through the fence.
There's like this wooden fence with like these gaps, and it's kind of like it's I don't know, they'll sit on the house tour video.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, we're gonna have to get that redone. And then luckily she doesn't fit through it, so that's amazing. And she absolutely loves the block.
She
apart-
loves it. She doesn't even remember the old house.
Yeah,
She's
she
just
doesn't.
fucking doing zoomies, and we have my mum over with her dog, and we looked after her for 10 days because my sister had a baby, and like it's been a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I want you basically went from stressing about thinking that would you sleep good here, would Honey like it, and then within 2 weeks you're just in the pool, in your bikini, running around with Honey, like you're just loving it.
Yeah, I think it takes a good few weeks to really settle in to a new house. I feel, well, for me, like
Yeah,
it
I
took me
agree.
a good 2-3 weeks. And then on top of that, I was also a bit unsettled because we already had Fiji booked.
Yeah.
And I was tossing and turning whether I wanted to go to that or not because we had just moved in and I was like, I really want to just nest and, you know, feel comfortable in the house. But we ended up just unpacking everything and just doing everything really quickly. And then all of this was ready at the same time. So that was stressful as well.
What I said was, why would we like ditch our friends and the idea just because we did such big changes? And if we could, I said to you, we'd cancel it if we needed to, but if we could move in and get part settled, let's just do Fiji because Fiji might not ever happen again.
Yeah.
And we want to try and put like friendship and like spending time with others as like a priority because we've been more business and self-focused. I mean, and that's not really that healthy, you know what I mean? Like you can't be too much in your own world. So, house, cars, all that shit, we've settled in. That's basically the main update.
Yeah.
But without going into other challenges throughout that, like trying to get things working and then trying to figure out our work, because we finally have, what I didn't mention is we have an office above this roof. We have a full fit out office, which, okay, we haven't done a tour video yet. We've done a half build tour video, which is on YouTube if you want to see what this place looks like when it was half built, like without any of the paint and stuff. And then we're going to film one in a few weeks where we do a full office tour, upstairs, everything. So what we've been trying to do is like, it's nice to have a place because for 3 or 4 years, we're all working from home. And the girls in our team were also working from home as well, from our place. And it was just like, in our relationship, it was like, when are we business partners and when we're like husband and wife? And like, when is it, like, I don't know how to turn off the business mind. Like, what's it like being with me? Like every morning we go for a walk and I'm just talking about business.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to say it.
It's not really.
It's like I am so obsessed with our clients, our business, and that like I want to keep helping people and I want to grow and I don't know, maybe it's like I don't know, I don't believe in trauma responses, but maybe like growing up without a father, single mum, seeing her work so hard, and I've always wanted to kind of like, when I was in primary school, people would have like branded shoes and branded shirts and like skateboards and like motorbikes, and I couldn't afford any of that, or I couldn't go to some of the school camps or certain places because mum couldn't afford it, or certain books to be in smarter classes, and I was like, I knew we were poor. And I think there's just always going to be that desire where I'm like I can get whatever I want now and I can have those things. And then when you have it all, for example, to go back a bit, I was in the biggest dopamine rush, house, Defender, Porsche, just filming on a high, like we've made it, we're killing it. And then you get all these things and then you just have this big down because you realize that none of that really changes like your actual day-to-day actions. Like you still got to show up. You don't want to be, and even if you won the lottery, it could be the worst thing for you because then you're like, I'm fucking like, once you do a few Euro trips and stuff, what are you bored? Like,
Oh yeah, it's always like, what's next then?
Yeah.
Instead of really just dialing it down and enjoying the moment. Yeah, it's always just like, what's next? What else can I get?
I feel like we've got better at that in between my little bursts of like dopamines and highs, and like we're hitting business targets, or like we're doing all-time highs, like most clients ever transformed in a challenge, or most challenge clients signed up or whatever. But in between that, I think we've got pretty good at like just having a swim, throwing the ball for Honey, like doing sunrises or sunsets and just going, okay, like this doesn't have to cost money, or this is not about like having the Porsche in the garage doesn't change my sunset walks every day with you and Honey.
Yeah.
Like that's really what happiness comes from. Like, yeah, like I
that's
like,
super important.
it motivates me to see the Porsche, and I like driving it in here sometimes, and I like going for a little cruise on the weekend when it's not raining. But I think coming back to, I've learnt, and I learnt this every time I buy a car or every time I do something, I learnt that like none of it really matters that much.
No.
But I feel like that's that deep desire of me, like, okay, what I really want next is to be able to fully retire my mum and support her to do what she passionately wants to do, because she spent her whole life as a single mum since we were like a year old, having to do things that she doesn't really want to do, or maybe not her biggest passion, to make sure she provides for 2 kids on her own. And I think that's probably like the next thing for me, the biggest desire that's going to motivate me more than like an intrinsic desire that's more than just like car, house kind of thing. And I'm glad that that's still burning inside me. But in the meantime, it's like, what really makes me happy is like going for a surf, having a swim in the pool with you, having a laugh, watching silly, like we were watching the Inspired Unemployed TV series thing on Paramount or whatever.
Yeah, the bucket list.
If you
So
haven't watched
funny.
it, fucking hell, we were just cacking laughing, like retarded laughing. Just, I loved it. And then when you get your cheeks hurt and your abs are sore from laughing, I'm like, that's one of the greatest things in
Yeah.
life. That's just
Laughter.
like, doesn't cost anything.
No.
Except for like Paramount Plus, like $9 a week,
Yeah.
whatever. But
there's free trial. You just cancel
yeah,
it.
yeah. Where are you at right now with your fucking life, and like where's your goals with your fitness and?
Yeah, so my goal, I'm currently on like a bit of a maintenance. I'm not really tracking.
But you, just to butt in, like, you are probably pretty close to maintenance because your weight hasn't gone up.
No.
So we know that because you previously were so dialed in that you can have a little bit of play
Yeah.
in between the chocolate benders.
Yeah, there was a bit there where I went a little bit haywire, where I just kept buying chocolate for the house, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, just like 2 squares. And then
The squares are this big though, like, what do you mean?
then
Like,
it was like, just another 2 squares.
Yeah.
And then like Jackson would go to have some. He's like, whoa, where did it go? And I was like, it's just 2 squares, like a day.
There's 2
but-
different types of people in a relationship. There's that one person like me that can buy a block of chocolate and it can be there for like 4 months.
Oh, it does my head
And you're looking
in,
at it and you're like,
eh?
are you going to fucking eat it?
It does
I'm like,
my
oh, I'm
head
just
in.
waiting for like a special day.
He does it on purpose, I think.
No, I don't. I
Yeah,
actually just don't
you just
think
let
about
it
it.
sit there so I can just see it. And
No,
I'm
I
like,
d-
I can't touch it because that's yours.
No, I don't. I've got so much going on that it's not, everyone has their thing, you know what I mean? Like I'm
Nah,
looking at Porsches on YouTube instead of chocolate. You're looking at
Yeah.
recipes or whatever, like.
Yeah, I think my thing is if I don't have like a goal, or if I'm bored or whatever, I'll just go for food.
So what's your goal at the moment? Finish that.
Goal is to lift as heavy as I can. Strength,
Get a strong
muscle mummy.
muscle mummy. I love it. Get strong, but also you want to get just healthier.
Yeah,
Because like everyone wants to be visually better, but there's a certain point where you get to a visual level where you could always be a little bit better visually, but like there's so much you could do cardio, health and flexibility wise that isn't visual, but it gives back years to your life and
Yeah.
it makes every day easier.
yeah,
And that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. I'm like, how can I get better at surfing, get more flexible, because I'm fucking tight everywhere. I think it's like the stress and like obviously not stretching and not training properly, but I just want to get fit, strong, same as you, healthy. I want
Yeah.
to start doing hill sprints again. I want to swim more. I want to live life a bit more because I spend a lot of time behind a fucking computer and it's like, it's not very healthy.
yeah. I think focusing on health this year, and then possibly looking into having kids.
Baby making.
Yeah.
All right, I got some questions. The girls at the team, we've got a girl that helps out with DMs and a girl that helps out with our client support. I asked them to send me the 5 most common questions from clients when they sign up. We have a lot of education on the app. We have a lot of Q&A and stuff, but like 5 of the questions that people ask, 5 through direct message and 5 through actual client email. So 5 through random people that want to sign up and 5 through actual clients. So number 1, I've been on low calories for months and training, not losing weight. Why? Okay. just because you think you're on low calories doesn't mean you're actually in a calorie deficit. I mean, I think you could probably understand this. Like you were telling me,
Oils, sauces, like
you were like saying, I'm eating healthy. And you're like, fucking avocado, olive oil, peanut butter.
I bought, funny story, I bought that Caesar salad bag that day and it was a family size. And I read the back of it and I was like, oh yeah, this whole thing is only like 300 and something calories. Turns out that was like a serving.
That was
for
one
like,
serving.
That was one serving or something.
So it
the
was
whole
like
thing was
1,000.
like nearly my whole, I don't know, half my
was like-
daily calories.
It was massive. And she
I
was
was
saying to
like-
me, she put it in her MyFitnessPal or into the Booty by Jack's app in our little calorie counter. And she goes, it was amazing. It was so nice. And I'm
so
like,
filling.
if it was filling and it was really nice and tasty, it was probably more than what you think. But for this question, this is a perfect example of that. Just because you think you've been eating healthy or you think you've been on low calories and training, if you're not losing weight, it's scientifically proven that you're not in a calorie deficit. So you're not eating less than you're burning if you're not losing weight. I don't care if you think you've got a metabolism problem or you got PCOS or you got like all these things are all valid, but science is science and you cannot argue science. Literally. You either are losing body fat or losing weight in a calorie deficit or you're not. And if you're not, it means that you're not in a calorie deficit. And this is the questions from people who DM us that aren't clients yet. When they sign up, they have a very eye-opener that they're probably eating the wrong macros, not enough protein, and such high amount of fats and carbs, and thinking they're eating low calories or healthy, but they're actually going over their calories for their normal intake. They might use an Apple Watch and be like, oh, this Apple Watch said I burnt 500 calories, so that means I get to eat 500 calories. It's like, don't believe this shit like that. Don't try to use an Apple Watch or like a cardio machine. Be like, I burnt 200 calories on the cardio machine, so now I can eat 200 calories. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, leave it to the professionals. We have the most amazing team, and we use the most amazing science-backed formulas to make sure that you're going to actually get results. Because you know what's worse? This is the worst thing you could do, is where you could put effort into making meals and eating healthy and not get the results, and then you give up and you think that you've got bad genetics or that you've got a bad metabolism. No, you just did it wrong. Okay. Should I change my workout every month? So I would actually say that it's not necessary to change your workout until about 6 to 7 weeks or even 8 weeks. But for our clients, we do change them every month because we learn after many, many years. Again, I've been training clients for over 10 years. I think 13, 14 years. I've been training clients longer than I've been with Alicia. A long time. And what I've found is, by having clients switch up their workout program about 4 to 5 weeks or 4 weeks, monthly works really easy, so we can do 12 different programs in a year if they're consistent. They seem to have more adherence. They seem to enjoy the change. Now, what you don't want to do is change it every day or every week and just be doing random workouts that you save from Instagram or fucking YouTube or whatever, and then you're like, well, how the fuck do you know what's working? It's like eating random shit every day and not tracking. So if you have a program that you've purchased off someone that's just like a PDF, you can run that for 6 to 8 weeks perfectly fine, and you can bring it back like 3 to 6 months later. With our clients, with our app, we just new program every month. You do a check-in and we make changes. Check-in, okay, we need to dial the nutrients, the calories, the macros, we make a small change. Program change, so then you find it more enjoyable. How do I work out my calories and why do they have different amounts in my meal plan? Okay, so to work out your calories, we have a free macro calculator. I'm pretty sure it's bootybyjax.com/macros, I think. If you want the link and that one doesn't work, you can just direct message us on Instagram and I'll send you the link. This will put in your information and will give you kind of like the most basic form of your calories without knowing like everything. We're just getting basic, a quick version of this. We have a more detailed version when we sign up. Now, why do I have different amounts in my meal plan? So this is a very common question for our clients as well. The thing is, when we do recipe-based meal plans, if you want tasty, delicious, like fake away kind of like actual nice meals, we aren't going to have every meal the exact same amount of macros. And sometimes Monday's meals, you total all of Monday up, will be slightly different macros and calories to Tuesday. But you have to understand, by doing this, we're giving you variety in your recipes and your meal plan and in your day. And Alicia's really like, she doesn't like just having like boring food every day. Like I can do that because I'm like a fucking robot nearly from bodybuilding, but even I get bored and I want something different. Like recently I've got sick of having the same lunches and I'm like, what else can I have? And it's like, to finish it off, just because Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday have a slight difference in calories, your body doesn't go, okay, I'm not going to lose body fat today. It's like, no, if it's very close to your goal and then your weekly average, we make sure that your weekly average is the right amount of calories and macros. So your body doesn't just reset it every 24 hours and you're like perfectly calculating. It doesn't just lose a perfect amount of body fat and gain a perfect amount of muscle. Your hormones in your body go through different changes over weeks to months or whatnot. As long as you're close and your weekly average is close, you will get really good results. And remember, sometimes people are slightly different grams when they're making recipes and stuff. So we're just giving you the closest thing possible to give you variety in your life that you enjoy. So then the person that's going to get the best results is the person that enjoys it the most while getting results. If you want every single day the exact same macros, I'll give you chicken, broccoli, steak, rice, like boring, simple stuff that I can do to the gram. But you might want something different. Okay. How do I lose back, belly fat and not my bum? Okay, love this question. So your lower back and your belly have very small muscle groups in them. Like you've got these muscles that are helping stabilize your body. When you train your lower back and your abs, you're not going to really make your stomach bigger. People think that, but it's not true. Like if you train core, it doesn't make your stomach bigger. What we're doing is we're strengthening that so then you can lift heavier in your compound movements, but also it saves your lower back from pain and just makes you a better human, a better person that moves better. You'll also brace your core better, so you'll actually get a pulling in of training core. If you're just doing it like really heavy in the wrong way, you might get a little bit thicker, like CrossFit girls or something like that, where it's like, when I say they're not the wrong way, but they're maxing out their core at an elite level and probably taking some stuff as well for most of them that look really blocky. So you want to train your glutes because those muscles will get bigger when we train them. And you want to train your core, but you want to be at calorie maintenance or a slight calorie deficit. That way the fat around your stomach and your lower back will get smaller, your core will get stronger, your glutes will get bigger, and you'll actually maintain the size in your glutes. It also is very important that you don't go really low in calories, because if you go very low in calories, you're in a massive calorie deficit. You will lose muscle and fat at the same time very fast, and you will lose your ass. And you see girls like this all the time. They'll be in like 5 years of a surplus and they'll slowly gain fat and a little bit of muscle or whatever. And then they'll go crazy low calories and start doing all this cardio, and then you just melt all the muscle off you, and then you look like a flat ass SpongeBob. It's an illusion that you need to work on over time to get your waist smaller, your back and your waist, like, because I've done so many comp preps and I've helped girls do bikini comp preps. We want the fat to get reduced off the waist and the lower back to make your waist smaller, and then we want to make the glutes bigger by training a good program and having enough protein, which, if this all sounds very confusing, this is what we do for you with our coaching. So if you want any help, you can DM us on Instagram. Okay. Already done that one. How long in between transformation pictures to get results? So, depends how much adherence or how consistent you are with your program and your meal plan. I believe the meal plan is probably going to have the most visual results if your goal is to try to lose body fat and gain muscle, or mostly look at reducing body fat. You can train for hours every day, like crazy, the world's best program, but if you're going over your calories or you're not eating the right foods, and your body's not going to make those changes. You're going to get stronger, but you're going to look blocky and you won't be motivated from it. So how long in between? Your body will change a tiny bit every day. It's kind of like taking a little bit off a toilet roll, and then all of a sudden you're like, I've got no toilet paper left. I didn't even realize. It's like, well, it's happening over time every day, depending on how many pieces you use. You've got that single ply, and then you're fucking probably making rolls. But everyone is different and everyone has different genetics. But at the end of the day, if someone that has shit genetics is really consistent, they will get results every 3 to 4 weeks visually. And when our clients send in their progress photos and they have their before photo on the app in the journey section, and we look at that every month, we go, okay, how do we dial their calories in better? How do we get more results? Or if they're getting good results, boom, keep the meal plan on the same calories, just give them different recipes, give them a new program to keep them having fun, but don't change things too much calorie wise. So you can literally see results. Like, it only took you about 5 or 6 weeks to see like proper, I seen it in the first 2 weeks, like inflammation down. I seen your glutes looking better, like a better pump, and then your waist looking smaller within like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But you probably seen it more like 6 to 7 weeks.
Yeah, it took, yeah.
But you're very hard on yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should start with Shred or Sculpt. Okay, so we have a few different options when you're signing up. We have Shred, Sculpt, or Build. And basically, Shred means that your goal, and it has a little question mark, and it tells you, if you hit the question mark on the website when you're signing up, it'll tell you what that means. Shred means that your number one goal is just to lose as much fat as possible. If you hit Sculpt, your number one goal is to lose a bit of fat while building muscle at the same time. And if you hit Build, you're really skinny, tiny, and all you want to do is try to gain weight, even some fat, to look better, to give you better curves, but also a lot more muscle. How do I know if I should start? Okay, very simple. If someone was like, gun to your head, okay, would you want to build muscle or lose fat? What's the number one answer? Like, what is the most important thing to you? If losing fat is the most important thing to you, then you should choose Shred. If building muscle but not wanting to gain any fat is really important to you, or slightly wanting to bring your body fat down, then you should choose Sculpt. And the same thing with
I
Build.
feel like that's like the tone that people talk about.
Yes, exactly.
Sculpt is like toning.
Like when girls are like, well, 'cause we have like Pilates follow along program, and we have the new 3-2-1 challenge. If you haven't looked at it, you can go to bootybyjax.com/321. We have the new you Pilates strength and cardio style program. This is going to give you that Sculpt kind of vibe,
Yeah.
that tone vibe. I don't use
Yeah.
tone too much because it's
No.
kind of like a trigger word for me, but I'll sometimes use it in like marketing and ads just to help people understand.
Well, there's no such thing, right? There's no
Well-
such thing as tone, really. It's just like,
It's just misinterpreted by a lot of people.
yeah,
Like tone really means is like showing more muscle through losing
Yeah.
body fat or gaining muscle, like seeing it visually. But yeah, you just gotta just make a decision. Like, do you have a lot of body fat? Do Shred. Do you have a little bit of body fat, but you'd like to have a bit more muscle and lose a bit of body fat? Do Sculpt.
yeah,
Why isn't the scale moving? Okay, pretty simple. You're not in a calorie deficit, or if you want the scale to go up, you're not in a surplus properly, you're not eating the right foods, the right macros. You're not adhering, you are not following your meal plan and your program correctly, or you're not sleeping at all, and you're not like being a good fucking healthy human.
yeah.
Like if you're stressed out and not sleeping, then your meal plan and the program is going to do very little anyway.
Yeah, recovery, so important.
Recovery, yeah. You could be overtraining,
Yeah.
but even overtraining, you'll still get shredded. You just hit a wall eventually and get injured, but you'll still see the numbers. But yeah, recovery is very important.
Yeah.
I've already answered how long will it take to get results. This is a really good one. What should I eat before and after my workout? You can answer this.
I feel like it's personal preference, like whatever makes you feel good. Like for me, like a good leg day, I'd actually really love protein oats. I found I could lift more
How
when
much?
I had
How much time before? Like you don't want to eat right before you work out.
that. No.
But you're very sensitive like this. If you've eaten and then I take too long to come to the gym with you, like you
I get
lose that
hungry.
energy and you get
Yeah.
hungry again. You're like a furnace, just
Yeah.
go. So
About 45 minutes.
I think if you're having like really dense food that needs to break down, which I wouldn't suggest too much. That's why I like breakfast. I like to train after breakfast, but by having some like eggs and toast and avo and whatever, about an hour before I train. And then like I get ready and have a shower after I have breakfast. It's my pre-workout meal. Also, what to eat. You want a bit of carbs and you want some proteins. Fat isn't as important, but a bit of fat's in there, some healthy fats is good, just to spread it out for brain function, health, hormones.
Even Dr. Stacey Sims, she says, even if you don't like to eat, if you like to do like a fasted workout, do like a protein coffee where you just add, you can get unflavored protein and just add it in with your coffee. And that just helps women and our hormones.
She also said to put a little bit of carbs in there too.
Yeah,
She also said to have
carbs for women, very
like
important.
some type of, you can put some type of liquid to add some carbs in there, or have like,
Or the protein powder.
doesn't have any carbs in it.
No, but she said you don't want to be like working out fasted.
Exactly. What I mean is like, that's like bare minimum, you want that. But I think a little bit of carbs is going to help you lift more and get better results.
100%. Yeah.
So you
definitely want carbs.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Like, just don't be an absolute fucking asshole to yourself, and don't eat like a full Zinger burger box from KFC, because you'll be flat out trying to fucking warm up and stuff. Like, you want to be straight in the mind. You want to have like something, you know what's healthy and what's unhealthy, and you know that you should be eating a good, a decent amount of meal. Okay, after you work out, I like to wait about at least 45 minutes. Me personally, I train quite hard towards the end of the session. I don't feel hungry. You can eat pretty.
After a workout, I get starving.
Alicia could go straight to the fucking food place.
But then I'm like, I have to push it out, otherwise I'll eat by like 11:30.
Run out of calories,
and I'm
yeah.
like, well, then I want dinner by like 4.
After you train, it's very important to have carbs
Yeah.
with your meal to replenish the glycogen that are in the muscles. When you're training and you get a pump, you start to use the glycogen, the carbs in your muscles. So you can have like a faster carb. So you can have like a rice or a banana or something, and then you want a bit of protein as well. When you get that protein in, it actually helps with protein synthesis, which is going to get the muscle to grow, like start to recover.
Yeah.
Think of like rice and chicken, rice and steak, or a wrap or something, you know, like, again, basic. It's super basic. But an hour before you train, at 30 to 45 to an hour after you train, you want to try and make sure you don't wait 3 hours after you train, because you go into a catabolic state.
Yeah.
And you don't want to, especially as a female, if we're talking females, you definitely don't want to train fasted too many times. Like, you should really try to figure out what foods work well for your stomach and your brain function and make you feel good. Because it's proven now that specifically females and males, but even more for females, is that they'll get a better session and you'll lift more and you'll actually train better with food, which will actually equate to more fat loss and more muscle gain, even though technically if you train fasted, you would burn a little bit more body fat while you're training, but your training session would probably be pretty trash.
Yeah.
So like the long game.
And again, for women's hormones, it's been proven it's not good.
Exactly. All right, that's all the questions. And I went way over time as usual. And luckily we have an amazing
Long-winded.
videographer that's like standing waiting. But it was good to get a podcast going in the new studio. We've dialed in the lighting. I hope you like this. There's a lot of work goes into this.
Yeah. Let us know what you want to see next.
Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see anything else, just let us know. Anything else?
No.
Let's go eat.
Yeah.
We just finished a workout like about an hour ago.
Yeah.
All right, see you later.